fun fact to remember is when advertisers shifted from, let's say, expanded text ads to RSA, they saw a spike in conversions for about 7%, around 7%, right? So that goes out to say how important responsive search ads are. Users today, ladies and gentlemen, exactly want to see what they have searched for anything, and they take no less than that. So how do you make sure that this happens in an environment where ads are so dynamic, there are so many accounts competing, there are so many people advertising on Google? The answer is responsive search ads. So why are responsive search ads so popular, and what is the technology that's powering these responsive search ads? It's very simple. Responsive search ads are nothing but where you are given a choice to input about 15 headlines or 15 headline options that you think may describe your product or service better. Along with that, you can also put in 4 descriptions which can explain which can add value to your headlines by describing more about your product, your service, your USPs, etc. But it is also evident that not many advertisers use it to its full potential, and there is a huge gap when it comes to understanding how can you milk the crap out of responsive search ads, for the lack of a better word. And that is exactly what we're going to look at today. It is one ad with about 15 headlines and 4 descriptions Google can use to come up with your ad texts. Now, it is a very common belief that if I give 15 headlines and 4 descriptions, Google may experiment with these and maybe 15 headline options and 4 descriptions. However, it is important to know that this can lead to a ton of combinations, because Google is powered by machine learning and AI algorithms already, and these 15 headlines and 4 descriptions can result unlimited number of combinations. All right, so to make it easy, what I've done is I've included both the presentation or the slides that I was going to talk about, and also the Google Ads account side by side, so that I can show you things as and when we move forward. So let's get started. Responsive search ads, it's too late if you think that you have choice. You have no choice. There is no expanded text ad format, which is Google is trying to show now. It is all responsive search ads. So either you adapt to the change or you perish, because your ads will not be shown. No other choice. Your ads actually matter more than you think, because your ad is the first point of contact. It's like a first date that you're going to have with your potential audiences. They obviously will search for a keyword that they know that better describes what they're wanting, what they want, and what decides whether they will come to your website or not is the ad. So how effective is your ad is what determines whether they will engage with your ad or not. So basically, that goes out to say that your ads are really important, more important than you think they are. Effective ads are all about providing more info at some point in time, but also more is an exaggeration, and what matters is, are your ads relevant? When somebody is searching for a Samsung mobile phone, it doesn't make sense if you're showing them if you're showing an ad for all mobile phones possibly available under the sun. It doesn't make sense, because he clearly said he wanted a mobile phone from Samsung. So your ad better be talking about Samsung phones, otherwise he's not going to engage with your ad. So move away from more information to relevant information that he's searching for. Using responsive search ads resulted in around 7% more conversions at the same CPA when people migrated, or when advertisers migrated from expanded text ads to responsive search ads at some point in time. That goes out to say how important they are, and that goes out to say why we should pay more attention to them than we did in the past. It is very easy and simple to understand that why is RSA so profitable for advertisers, because it is powered by the signals that Google thinks are helpful for your business based upon the data that is fed in. So you're giving in so many headlines and description options because you're feeding in data into the machine learning system of Google Ads, so that it can understand the behavior of people and can predict signals better going forward. So that is why you need to capitalize as much as you can on RSA. Creating some random 15 headlines and 4 descriptions just for the heck of doing it is not going to cut the deal. You need to be at the edge, trying out new headlines, new variations, new ad groups, giving in 15 headlines and 4 descriptions, so that Google can get to work with a lot of combinations that you think is relevant. Feed that data into the machine learning system so that you can come up with better predictions for your ads. And how do you keep changing it? What basis do you keep changing it? You need to leverage the ad strength tool, which we would be talking about in the slides down the line. Then you have 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. Yes, it is. And you need to remember that if you think that you can create one ad with 15 headlines and 4 descriptions and you're set for the rest of your life, you're mistaken. You need to at least experiment with 3 variations of such 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. What that does is that gives Google enough combinations, enough data, so that it can go ahead and look at the holistic picture of how your ads are performing, how users are interacting with your ads, then make necessary arrangements, then make necessary predictions and suggestions to you so that it will start capitalizing more on the data that you have fed into the system. Plus combinations, as we have, and that this is exactly what we have been speaking for the last 5 minutes. Not just 15 headlines and 4 combinations and 4 descriptions. We're talking about zillion other combinations based upon what your variations are including. Then you have use all the 15 slots. Why do you want to take a chance? I mean, you have 15 slots where you can put in headlines that better describe your business. You better use all the slots because it makes more sense for you to put in as much relevant information there so that Google can leverage this data and start churning out results for you based upon what is beneficial for you. When I say 15 slots, which these are the headlines, and I also would encourage to exhaust all the description slots that you have. Common complaints from advertisers and practitioners is I can't think of anything, I don't know what to write, I don't know what the ad should talk about. Guys, come on, it's 2023. You have platforms like ChatGPT. You can also do a lot of competitor analysis. You have a lot of content prediction tools. Based upon these things, you should be able to come up with these slots which better describe your business and genuine, not copy-pasted information. Pin what you think is relevant. I mean, if you have these 15 headlines, and how do you tell Google that I want these for sure? By pinning the headlines. If you think there is a headline which better describes your product than the rest, I strongly urge to go ahead and pin those headlines. Makes sense. I mean, I would usually pin about 2 to 3 headlines because I really want them there, and that is the USP of my business. And I would want to have those headlines pinned so that they show no matter what. All right. Some headlines need to be just your USPs. I mean, you don't have to include all the keywords that you have in your headlines because although Google says that is a best practice, but think about it. You don't need to be such a boring, you don't need to have a very, very boring ad which is only to the point. Cut some slack for yourself and please let your creative juices flow. Maybe you can have a few variations in those 15 headlines where you can get creative, do some wordplay, try out different things, reach out to different audiences. Also talk about your USPs, not just the headlines that you have, not just the keywords that you're including. So as a combination, use your headlines and your keywords that you have included in the ad group as headlines. Get creative with ads. Don't copy paste. This is the saddest thing that you can actually do because it is not going to mean that you copy pasted somebody's ad. You cannot expect the same results to come to you. So you need to be very, very, very sure about not doing that with your ads. Get creative. It is very easy in today's world. Use ad customizers and keyword insertion. If you have a sale going on and you have 5 days left for the sale to end, use ad customizers, which will start the countdown. Use keyword insertion when people are talking about, let's say, paints. They want a charcoal wall paint for their house. And when they put in charcoal paint, make sure you use keyword insertion so that the exact keyword gets inserted into the headline so that, or description for that matter, so that people will find this is exactly what I'm looking for, and make sure you have the product. If you don't have the product, it doesn't make sense if you copy anything under the world, right? If you insert anything in the world. So make sure you use ad customizers and keyword insertion. You can use ad customizers for sale related ads where there is a countdown. You can have about seasonal products. You can use ad customizers for a lot of other reasons, right? All right, use your most important keywords. Don't just go to Keyword Planner, dump in your ideas. Don't dump everything that you get as your headlines. See if they have enough traffic. See if they're related to the keyword. See if they're related to your business. See if they have a good search volume. See if it is resulting in a good ad strength at the end of the day. Where do we see that? I will show it to you in a second. No replacements for CTA and no compromise for not asking people what to do with your ad. Do you want them to download something? Do you want them to visit the website? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to do something else? You need to tell them what they're supposed to do, right? So use your call to actions in your ads. Variety in headlines is good. Don't say books online, online books, buy books online, buying books online, purchase books online. It's so boring, and Google does not get anything out of that. And it cannot perform to its optimum level. So give it some variety, right? So you have things like books online, and then you say need some books, looking for some fiction books or non-fiction books. Give it some variety, right? All right, leverage combinations report, and this is where things get serious, and we would be jumping into the account to see what are the things that you need to look into when you are working with responsive search ads. So I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I'm ignoring, and I'm going to exclude what campaign, what ad group, etc. I'm straight away jumping into the ads part of it. Click on responsive search ad. This is where you will go ahead and create a responsive search ad. Now this is your URL and this is your display path. These are your headlines that you can keep adding and start adding more headlines, right? So 15, and then you can have about 2 to 4 descriptions. You can also use tools like ChatGPT if you really want to get some more information. Now this is how the preview of the ad looks like. Now what I meant when I spoke about leverage the combinations report is, there is something called as a combinations report. When you go to your ads and just to go to a responsive search ad, let's see if there's a responsive search ad somewhere. Okay, this is a responsive search ad. You see this view asset details link at the bottom. So you need to click on that. When you click on that, it opens up another window, and then you're given assets, and you're given assets, and you also have something called as combinations. So click on this combinations and see the responsive search ad combinations, right? Now let's say starting 15th January, combinations will only be shown in this report for the current month as well as the preceding 11 months on an ongoing basis. So let's say August, you don't have any impressions for this month. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I chose a date range for which I had some impressions. So responsive search ad combinations are these, right? It got 312 impressions, which is 49%. Then I got 94 impressions. Do you see how Google is mixing and matching things that I have already included, right? These are the different combinations. Google Ads Unlimited course, lab sessions, and case studies. This is lab sessions, case studies, Google Ads Unlimited course, right? It is just showing you what combinations did work out. Okay, now this is the trick to remember. Since it is showing the same combination, it is quite possible that I have not included many variations. You see another variation here, just $14.99 a month, Harirav, lab sessions, case studies, etc. Right? Now, there is something that you need to remember. Just because there are 312 impressions on this particular combination, I should not get too excited, and I should not go ahead and start pinning these comments because I know that this is getting a lot of impressions. No, you need to let the system do its job. You cannot interfere when the system is doing its job. So just because you know that these keywords are performing well, maybe you can add more variations of these and see trying to create a lot of other experiments, a lot of other variations to see if it actually is true and if the trend is replicated across the ad groups. But don't just pin the comments just because the combination report showed you something, right? So you get your information from here and start working on keyword variations and more variations of things that are performing well. So this is your combination reports. Just to quickly show you where you find that, you go to any campaign, you go to any ad group, go to ads and assets, go to ads, go to your ads. Actually, let's go back again. So this is ad groups, go to ads. Okay, these are all my ads, and under a responsive search ads ad, click on view assets details. Then you will have assets and combinations. Click on combinations. As simple as that. Now this is something which is conveniently ignored, and we don't pay much attention to this because when you look at these things, see, Google Ads is always a combination of what do you see in your account plus what do you want to happen. So when you have these two things very, very clearly set in your mind, you will start working out what you need to do to reach where you want to go. So this is exactly where you start, right? So there's no point in blindly putting some dumb ads and then expecting the system to perform. You need to be actively involved. All right, then. Make ad strength your friend. How do you know that? Go to your ads. These are the assets. Okay, this is the ad strength, right? Now, the ideal expectation is to have an excellent ad strength, and these are some of the tips that Google gives you to make sure what you need to do to get your ad strength to excellent. If it is not excellent, at least a good or very good would do, because that means that you have at least checked all the boxes per the Google suggestions. So this definitely needs some work. And in my defense, I can say that this is the case because this was a long story, and this is about 2020 campaign. So maybe a lot of things have changed and blah, 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 whatever, right? So maybe this, I mean, for sure, this needs some work, and let this be your friend. Don't, it gets irritating sometimes because no matter what you do, your ad strength will just say good and it wouldn't move up from there. So you need to be patient. You need to try different variations, do a lot of competitor analysis, see what's happening on Google, do your keyword research, see what keywords are getting more traffic, get them here, add them as headlines, start working more variations of those things, try a lot of combinations. That's exactly you go. All right. Then you have, what else? That's it. Can be true. Okay, that's it. All right, so these are some of the tips that you keep in mind to make sure you really get a hang of what responsive search ads have in store for you and how you can capitalize on things to actually do a brilliant job when it comes to responsive search ads. If you have any questions, or if you have anything that you want me to make a video upon, or if you would want to be a part of my course or whatever, just hit me up and then we can take it ahead from there. My name is Casey and I run a website called www.marketingthinktank.co. I repeat, www.marketingthinktank.co. See you there. Until next time. Ciao.